familiar with this channel, we do a lot of tributes to actors that we have lost, and we want to do one today that we lost in May of last year, right?
Yeah.
And it's, but we're going to do a tribute to Ray Liotta. Very phenomenal actor. When we get into some of his catalog, you should know some of the work he's done. But yeah, he was a very intense actor.
He was, and one of the really great ones, I think, for us growing up. And it's a sad thing that we lost him as soon as we did.
This is a pretty big catalog, so we better get going.
The first ones I'm going to mention is just him, as all actors and actresses do, they got to pay their dues, so some minor parts. Did a film, looks like, called Hard Hat and Legs in 80, Crazy Times in 81.
Crazy Times sounds familiar. I don't know why, though.
He did, he was on Another World, which was was that a soap?
I have no idea.
For almost 40 episodes. St. Elsewhere did an episode of that. Let's go ahead and skip to his breakthrough performance, where I think a lot of people remember him from starting off, was a movie called Something Wild.
Charlie, you are one dumb son of a bitch. I'm almost starting to like you, Charlie.
Something Wild. I remember seeing this years ago. Melanie Griffith,
Jeff Daniels.
Isn't Melanie Griffith kind of like a con artist or something? And she's supposed to con Jeff Daniels, if I remember right. But they end up, I think, falling for each other.
I never saw the whole film, really.
And it's been a while. I could be way off base with this, but I know Ray Liotta is either like the ex-boyfriend, he's like a crazy boyfriend.
Right.
All I remember was this scene in the diner where Ray Liotta had taken Melanie Griffith back. Well, Jeff Daniels goes back to get her, and they're talking back and forth, and Ray Liotta can't do anything because there's cops in the diner. And Jeff Daniels goes, but don't worry, I'm going to pay for the check. So he gets up and leaves with Melanie Griffith.
The gentleman said you'd take care of this.
Son of a bitch.
I don't remember how it ends, but yeah, I remember that, and I remember him being in it.
One thing I know about this film is it's always cited as not only, the first appearance, the breakthrough appearance or performance of Ray Liotta, but also a really great film from the 80s. So yeah, it's worth I've only seen pieces of it. It's worth checking out. But so that's in Something Wild. In 1988, he did Dominic and Eugene.
I never saw it.
It's got a pretty good rating. Yeah. And then one I think sits in the hearts of most all of us, Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams,
1989.
I love this game. I'd have played for food money. It was a game. The sounds, the smells. Did you ever hold a ball or a glove to your face? Yeah.
Plays Shoeless Joe Jackson. Kevin Costner's 2 of 3 baseball films.
Yeah.
Guy has a farm in Iowa and has a voice tell him to build a baseball field, and Ray Liotta shows up.
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd one for, I guess you'd say, Ray Liotta, but he does a great job. It's a great heartfelt movie. It's about baseball. It's just James Earl Jones is in it. It's really good.
Something to be said about Liotta's career, because his trajectory went a certain way. People obviously remember him for films we're going to be talking about very shortly here on his filmography, as the tough guy, as the strong arm, as the mobster, mafioso. And so when he does films like this or Operation Gumbo Chop, people are like, wow, Ray Liotta made a movie like that? Yeah. And yes, he was versatile. He actually could act outside of being a scumbag. Now, speaking of that, the very next film he did in 1990 was Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Hello, Henry.
You ready?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's probably, yeah. I mean, what's there to say about Goodfellas? It's just a phenomenal mafia movie. Scorsese directed it. De Niro, Pesci, a lot of character actors in it. I mean, we could spend a whole video on this, so no reason to go too deep into this. But yeah, if you haven't seen Goodfellas, you really need to watch it.
Yeah, and of course, I think there was a regret too on Liotta's part that even 30 years later he never was able to work with
Scorsese
again.
yeah.
You know, for different circumstances in Hollywood. In '91 he did Women and Men Too in Love.
Never saw that.
No, I don't know. Article 99 in '92.
Never saw that.
Heard about it, but it was good, and I think it was about the establishment of, or where health, well, it's worse shape now, but where healthcare was at the time, and dealing with vets, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's somewhere checking out. You have Liotta and you have Kiefer Sutherland. I mean, doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one everyone remembers: Unlawful Entry.
You know, when Karen first met you, she actually thought you were different than her gambling father. What? It's very interesting how people follow patterns. See, she doesn't feel safe with you either, Michael. And Karen needs to feel protected from when those coyotes come charging out of the brush.
You listen to me. You stay the fuck away from her.
Assaulting a police officer? A nice civilized man like you, Michael?
What are you gonna do? Arrest me?
Arrest you? I could kill you.
I've seen it a few times. I remember seeing it when you used to go to Blockbuster to rent movies. My parents rented this and we watched it. Kurt Russell, Madeline Stone.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell and Madeline Stone are married. They move into this house and they have a break-in. Ray Liotta's a cop that comes to investigate and all this stuff. Well, turns out Ray Liotta is kind of a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And I think he's in love with Madeline Stone.
Yeah, he sort of channels Michael Keaton from Pacific Heights almost. Really to some degree, really creepy sociopath.
Yeah.
And pitting him against
Kurt Russell
for Madeline. It's a heck of a film.
It is. It's really good.
And I got to give props to Roger E. Mosley, who plays Liotta's police partner in the film.
That's right. Yeah.
Did a great job in that too. So that was 92. In 94, just a couple of years in between now. In 94, he does No Escape.
I never saw that.
For its time, it was actually a pretty good action film for its time. And what it is it's been a long time, since almost 30 years now, but his character, if I'm not mistaken, is wrongfully accused of murder, or he's defending himself, and it's set in the future. So they take his character, Liotta now, and they send him in the future. They put prisoners on an island, and you let them duke it out. You give them very little resources and to deal with, and you've got a really great supporting cast. I would recommend it just as least as a watch for most people. But that was in 94, and also in 94. So talking about doing films against type, he does a film with Whoopi Goldberg called Karina.
Never saw that either.
Drama film. As again we talked about, he can play a character that's not violent as much as he can, as much as he couldn't. And then one that it's actually pretty good. It's a heartfelt little family film called Operation Dumbo Drop.
I saw that as a kid. God, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't tell you much. I remember Danny Glover's in it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a kid's movie. Obviously it's about Dumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
In 95, he did an episode of Frasier.
I don't remember that episode. I've seen the Frasier series. I just don't remember him being in it.
Yeah, I've only seen a few episodes. Thanks to you and our friend Jared. Shout out to Jared.
Hi, Jared.
Jared. Unforgettable in 96.
I never saw that either.
Here's one that you probably like to forget, that people like to forget he was in, was Turbulence.
Turbulence. Yeah, I mean, it was a great concept. It's interesting. He's a prisoner being transported on a. It's a big plane. It's a big jet. One that's like 787, whatever they call them, and basically takes over the plane. I forget the female that plays in it, but she kind of fights him on it. But he plays a psychopath.
Yeah, Lauren Holly.
Yeah.
Listen, you had
It
turbulence.
is what it is.
Yeah, you had turbulence, so you had the one guy, Liotta, which against all odds, I guess, is fair. But then I think it was in 97 also, or 98, didn't you have Con Air?
Yeah, 97. I believe.
So you had all them versus one guy, who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, well.
But, okay, so let's go in with 97. He does one that it should pop up on any Liotta fan's radar. Copland.
But how does this apply to what you were saying inside?
It applies, Freddy! It's just as easy to tail a man walking in front of him. Now, you butt heads with these friends of ours, you're gonna come at them head on?
Okay.
They got lives, Freddy. Families. No. You move diagonal. You jag.
This is another one that did very disappointing at the box office.
Yeah.
Critics hated it. And you had such an all-star cast. You had Stallone, but he was on decline at the time, but you had Stallone. You had De Niro. You had Harvey Keitel.
Yes.
You had Ray Liotta.
Robert
Patrick. You had Peter Berg. Gosh, man, the list goes on. You have some of these character actors from some of the other mafia movies.
Yeah, I think Janine Garofalo and John Spencer were in it.
What's his name from? He was in Sopranos. He was in it. I know that's very vague, but this was a great movie. Character based. It tells the story. You definitely, if you're a Liotta fan or Stallone or even Harvey Keitel, check it out. Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport, man. If you're a fan of films that are like a slow boil, crime,
check it
drama,
out.
Yeah, it is. No matter what anybody tells you, it was one of the better films of the late 90s.
We've talked about doing a deep dive into that one.
Yeah, I think we should. Okay, in 98, he did I think it was direct-to-video. It might have had a small, limited theatrical release. Now, I saw this film many, many years ago. It's called Phoenix.
Never saw it.
And it was about a con, a heist. I think Anthony LaPaglia is in it, Ray Liotta, a few others. It's worth a watch. In fact, I've seen it recently on one of the streaming services, I forget which. I want to check it out again. It is worth a watch because it's Liotta, and Liotta never, or hardly ever that I can ever recall, phoned in a performance.
Yeah.
So that was in 98. So in 98, they tried to do something with the resurging popularity of the Rat Pack. And so he played Frank Sinatra in a
I've seen a clip of this, but it's been so long. I can't say.
I don't think it was as successful as they were hoping it would be. That's not to say their talents of doing impressions of the great ones, but still, that might be worth a watch. In 99, he followed it up with that's a different choice here, Muppets from Space.
I remember that. I'm probably sure I watched it when I was a kid, but I have no recollection.
Wasn't that last song George Clinton on the saxophone or something? He's our friend.
I don't know.
Okay, in 99, he did Forever Mine.
It sounds familiar too, but I don't think I've seen it.
No, I don't. Pilgrim or Inferno in 2000.
Never saw that.
I remember seeing the box cover. But this is, okay, now Liotta, after Goodfellas, after Copland, his career began to wane slightly. Okay?
Just like a lot of actors.
Just like, yeah. So, Rumor of Angels in 2000. Mm-mm. Now he comes back, well, I say he comes back, but he plays a substantial part in the second or third, depending on how you look at it, sequel in Silence of the Lambs franchise, Hannibal.
Haven't seen it.
He plays a real piece of work, this guy.
Of course.
A real jerk who, in a lot of ways, gets what people would think is his comeuppance in the very end. Gets what's coming to him, even though I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Yeah, him. You had obviously Anthony Hopkins, and I forgot Clarice Starling, who took her place in it. Jodie Foster. I forgot her name now.
Okay.
But anyway, I personally couldn't recommend it because there are scenes in there that are fairly gruesome. In 2001, he does Heartbreakers.
I remember that coming out, but I've never seen it.
Oh, it was one of the last films that Gene Hackman did, too, if I'm not mistaken. It's a great cast, but I've never seen it. 2001, he does Blow.
I mean, I'm really great at what I do.
Let me tell you something, George. You would have been great at anything. Anything.
This is good. Johnny
Okay.
Depp about the cocaine traffic in the U.S. back in the 70s, I think it was. And Ray Liotta plays Johnny Depp's dad. Does a really good job.
Now,
Really
you've
good
told
job.
me to watch this, and this is
Yes.
something I am going to watch. I did a Family Guy episode.
I don't watch Family Guy.
Okay, here's one I bought. I own. Good film. Because, as you know, this crime drama is one of my favorite genres of film, crime drama, is Narc in 2002.
I've heard of it.
It's Jason Patrick and Ray Liotta. Hell of a film, man. Hell of a film. Very brutal, very raw, sort of in the vein of Training Day, similar. So you got to prepare yourself before you watch it, but I'm telling you, you won't regret it.
Okay.
That's 2002. He does a couple episodes of Just Shoot Me.
I know the show. I've never watched it.
I've got a friend who watches that. I don't know. John Q in 2002.
I saw this in the theater, and I haven't seen it since. Denzel Washington, and I can't remember what Ray Liotta plays. I think he plays the cop, because Denzel Washington plays a guy. He basically takes a hospital hostage because his kid needs a surgery, and his insurance won't cover it, and he doesn't have the money to pay for it. So he holds the hospital hostage to make them do the surgery. And if I'm not mistaken, Ray Liotta is the cop trying to talk him from hurting anybody.
Oh, wow.
Even though Denzel had never played it. But I need to see it again because it was good. I just, like I said, I haven't seen it since the theater, and I think it came out in like 2001.
Yeah, I remember it coming out, but I just never got around to watching it. And again, another film sort of blowing the cover off the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
So in 2002, he does one called Point of Origin.
No, I never saw it.
He lends his voice to Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, yeah, Vice City. I remember that.
He does an 8-minute short in Ticker in 2002.
I don't know.
Here's one I did watch finally recently in its entirety. Identity.
I remember seeing that in the theater. That's really good. John Cusack. There's a lot of actors in that. But yeah, Ray Liotta's in it. He does, yeah. It's a mind bender. You would think it would be a David Fincher movie.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, our friend Jared recommended that to me too. He told me to watch Identity.
But yeah, it's good.
Shout out to Jared.
Hi, Jared.
The Last Shot in 2004.
Never saw it.
An episode of ER. Apparently.
ER was big. I remember watching a few episodes, but I don't think I watched the one he was in.
Control in 2004.
Never saw that either.
Revolver in 2005.
I've heard of that movie. I don't think I've seen it though.
Jason Statham.
Old Statham boy.
Slow Burn in 2005.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Even Money in 2006.
Put that in the same category.
Local Color in 2006.
That's 3 in a row.
Comeback Season in 2006.
Make it 4.
Smoking Aces in 2000.
Smoking Aces.
Belfast, and in prison he chewed off his fingertips to the bone.
Why don't you have maintenance do it?
Do what, sir?
Shut the elevator down.
An emergency shutdown of our entire elevated lift system, sir? No, that has to be handled by my staff, sir.
Okay, yes. This is a heck of a film. You got Ryan Reynolds is in it. Who's John Cusack's friend?
Oh,
Judgment Night.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
It's I haven't seen it in a while, so it's hard to kind of describe the movie, but I think it centers around a heist. But yeah, Ray Liotta's in it. It's good.
Wild Hogs in 2007.
Wild Hogs, man. It's a PG comedy, so I mean, if you want like a raw, gritty comedy, it's not for you. It's really family driven. It's four guys: John Travolta, Tim Allen. I forget one of the guys' names, but Martin Lawrence, and they're going on a bike ride across the U.S. and they end up going to this bar. It's a real biker bar, and Ray Liotta is at that bar, and he does not like the four that show up. But it's funny. You should check it out.
Okay, in 2007, he does. Oh my gosh, I remember when this came out. In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Trace.
That's a long title. I've never heard of it. Never seen it.
That was Jason Statham.
You must like working with Statham.
It was a sword and sorcery fantasy epic.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be pretty big, but I don't know that they had a budget to make it that way. Apparently there was a television series in 2006, 2007 called Smith. I'm not familiar with that. Battle in Seattle.
I've heard of that, never saw it.
The Bee Movie.
The Bee Movie, that's Jerry Seinfeld's animated movie, if I'm not mistaken. So he gave his voice. I never saw it, though.
Hero Wanted.
No, I've never heard of it.
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Hey.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
I know SpongeBob.
He was the bubble poppin' leader.
I wasn't a big fan of SpongeBob, so I don't know.
Crossing Over in 2009.
No.
Observe and Report 2009.
That's a Seth Rogen comedy. I don't think I've seen that since the theater.
I
don't think you would like it much. I think he plays Seth Rogen's dad, if I'm not, but it's been a while.
Powder Blue.
No.
The Line.
No.
2009 with Andy Garcia.
That sounds good. Andy Garcia.
Yeah. Youth and Revolt.
I have no idea.
Crazy on the Outside.
Nope.
Date Night.
I've heard of Date Night, but I've never seen it.
Who was that? It was Tina Fey and Colin Farrell.
Okay. I didn't even know they were in it.
Snowmen.
No.
Chasing 3000.
No.
Baseball movie?
No. I don't know. Maybe.
Hannah Montana.
I knew who Hannah Montana is.
He was in Hannah Montana?
According to that.
As a principal?
Evidently.
Did he kill somebody? Oh.
You take it easy.
Charlie St. Cloud?
No.
The Son of No One.
I don't know it.
The Details.
Nope.
All Things Fall Apart.
It's falling apart right now.
Like this video we're doing.
Yeah.
Street Kings 2 Motor City.
I heard of that, but since Keanu Reeves wasn't in it, I didn't.
Yeah, you had me watch the first one. It was pretty good. We never got around to the second one. The River Murders.
No.
Christian Slater? Ving Rhames and Ray Liotta? How can you go wrong?
Never saw it.
Field of
Dreams 2? Where did that come from?
Killing Them Softly.
I've seen parts of this, but I haven't seen all the way through. I need to watch it.
I just watched the end of it, the last 2 minutes on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different kind of. You got James Gandolfini in there. You got Ray Liotta. You got
Brad Pitt in it.
Brad Pitt is the lead character.
I need to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the major characters, if you will, in it is the 2008 recession, is because that's when it takes place.
Okay.
So pretty interesting in that respect. Breathless.
No.
The Iceman, based on.
I wanted to see that, but I never did.
Yeah. I know the story. I know the actual character. Never saw the film. The Place Beyond the Pines.
That is a heck of a film.
Oh, that's a great film.
Yes.
Yeah, you had
Ryan Gillespie. Bradley Cooper's in it. He shows up halfway through the movie though.
Yeah.
But Ray Liotta is one of these detectives, and he's kind of crooked, and that's kind of we'll leave it at that. But The Place Beyond the Pines, it's a heck of a film. It is long though. It is a long film.
Yeah, almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yellow in 2012.
I never saw it.
Bad Karma.
No.
Dear Dracula.
No.
NTSF SD SUV. What?
Nope.
Abominable Christmas.
No.
The Devil's in the Details.
I've heard of that. Never saw it, though.
A Mob of the Dead.
Nope.
Wonderful.
This is really going well.
Pawn.
Nope.
Suddenly.
Nope.
Muppets Most Wanted.
Hey, Muppets. No.
He played Big Papa.
Heck yeah, he did.
Better Living Through Chemistry.
Nope.
The Identical.
Nope.
David Guti features Sam Martin, Lovers on the Sun.
No.
Sin City, A Dame to Kill For.
Oh, that was a sequel to the first Sin City. I remember him being in it, but I don't remember what he played because I was really disappointed in that one. I really enjoyed the first one, and that one was, to me, a disappointment.
Enough said. Revenge of the Green Dragons.
Nope. Never even saw the Green Dragons get taken out.
Kill the Messenger.
Nope.
30 for 30.
He was in I can't remember which one he was in. Those are sports stories.
The Money.
Nope.
Ed Sheeran featuring Rudimental, Bloodstream.
Negative.
Texas Rising.
Oh, that's a series on the History Channel he was in. I haven't seen it all, and I can't remember what he played.
Played Daniel Boone.
There you go. He played Daniel Boone.
The Making of the Mob. Now that sounds good.
That does sound good.
Finally. Blackway.
No.
Campus Code.
No.
Modern Family.
No.
Flock of Dudes.
No.
The Backup Dancer.
No.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
No.
Young Sheldon.
Jesus Christ. No.
Great news.
I've heard of that, actually. No, not great news, Young Sheldon.
The Simpsons.
Hey, he was in The Simpsons.
As Morty Sislak.
I have to watch that, see what it was.
The last name. So he was the bartender.
He's Mo's dad, I guess.
His dad. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Shades of Blue. That's the show we did with Jennifer Lopez.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Marriage Story.
No. All the table reading during the pandemic, he was on that. That's what that is.
For Fast
Times at Ridgemont High. Jimmy Kimmel did the table reading, and I forgot what character he played.
Hubie Halloween.
No.
Syndrome K.
No.
No Sudden Move.
No.
The Many Saints of Newark.
No.
Isn't that supposed to be the prequel to Sopranos?
I don't know. I think so, but I don't know.
Hannah.
No.
Not Montana.
No.
Broken Soldier.
No.
Blackbird.
No.
Cocaine Bear.
That's the last one, isn't it?
Fool's Paradise.
Oh, no.
I haven't seen as many of these as I thought I did.
Wow, I really feel bad about this. So out of the limited scope that we've seen, what is your favorite?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it's got to be Goodfellas. It's got to be...
Goodfellas is such an easy answer to go to because if you know Ray Liotta, you know, that's what you associate with.
But okay, so if you had to
I'm going to the dark horse. I'm going to go with Copland.
Okay, yeah, Figsy and Copland. Yeah.
I have to go with that. Yeah, I really love that film. I loved that film when it came out, and I was only 13 at the time. But yeah, I'll go with the dark horse. I'll go with Copland.
Copland, I'd have to agree with you, man. There's still there's stuff that, you know, revisiting his filmography here, I'm like, oh, Revenge of the Green Dragons, or this or that. I want to check this out.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, hopefully this wasn't disappointing for you guys, but, you know, we learned as much as you did.
Yeah, that we haven't seen half of what he came out with.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was a phenomenal actor. I know he came out with a commercial before he died. Evidently, he was a smoker, and he was able to quit.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm Ray, and I used to smoke, or something like that. But, no, he was a great actor. I can't speak if he's a great person or not. I never met him. But, yeah, that's his film catalog. And we'll see you down the road.